Mike Tyson and Jake Paul boxing matchup postponed after medical emergency. I want to thank my fans from around the world for their support and understanding. This is Mike Tyson saying this during this time. Let me do that again. I want to thank my fans around the world for their support and understanding during this time. Unfortunately, due to my ulcer flare-up, I've been advised by my doctor to lighten my training for a few weeks to rest and recover.
Yo.
My body is better overall shape that has been since the 1990s.
All right, man.
Training schedule soon.
I really hope he don't find you. Ulcer or not, he gonna ulcer you. You better why talking like that.
I'll
give you an ulcer soon, okay?
I want no problems with Mike Tyson, bro.
Yo,
I want zero problems with Mike Tyson.
I ever since that one time he said, I'm going to F you. I'm gonna F you in the butt, and I'm gonna make you my B. Ever since I saw that clip, I said I'd never, ever one step to Mike Tyson.
Tyson versus Cano, July 20th. You know when I knew I didn't want to fight Mike Tyson was that one. That was definitely a moment. But it was also when they asked him if he ever had a fight in jail. He just looked at them like, I'm Mike Tyson. No one would ever fight me in jail. Like that wouldn't. No one would ever do that. Like, and I was like, yeah, that's a different person. I was just joking, Mike. I love you, man. I love your ulcer. But he did have one final thing to say to Jake Paul. He said, this may have bought you time, but in the end, you will still be knocked out and out of boxing for good. I appreciate everyone's patience and can't wait to deliver an unforgettable performance this year. So it looks as if the fight is still on. Hey, yo, Juice, what's popping, man? I like that Los is here. I like the Shalom Face is here. I like that Juice
is a very unique group of people tonight. Like, what are people saying? But if it's true that he has this ulcer, like you can't fight. Number one, you can't fight time, and you can't fight like.
That's what I think it is.
Way that you could.
That's what I think. He's 57, so I think that's.
He's getting old, and it shows, and it's crazy, bro. Because he's one of those people that I look at, and I'm like, yo, he's invincible. Nothing. Like he will be 57, 60, 70, 80, look the same, and is still in boxing form, ready to fight. Like he just seems like always just indestructible to me. So when I heard about the fact he had an ulcer, or like, and I know an ulcer can happen to anybody at any age, no matter how old you are. But I feel like the fact like this is the first time I ever heard him being sick. It's like, oh man, like the man he's not as indestructible as I think he is, and time is still going to be the victor of every boxing match. Time will always win.
That's no matter how invincible you are, that Father Time is undefeated, man.
Yeah. So it's a good thing that he's taking his time, that he's pacing himself, like making sure that the ulcer doesn't get any worse, and that he's taking care of himself. I hope, because I've always looked at this dude Jake Paul as a slimy jerk. I hope he doesn't like go on different shows and be like, "Oh, Mike Tyson's a punk," or "He's a little bi," or whatever. You know what I'm saying? Like he's always been this jerk to me. So
look at what Melissa wrote.
I'm worried about that.
Melissa said, "I can't stand Jake Paul. I recall his oversaturation in the YouTube world with his brother, and then he switched it up and went boxing and fighting. He has fought others, yeah,
he has,
but he never will fight like real boxers. This is the first real boxer he would fight, but a 57-year-old. Jake Paul is young, and he hasn't fought a real boxer. He's fought MMA people in boxing, which is not the same thing. And he's 27 years old. So there are 27-year-old prime boxers that if he really wanted to do boxing, he could box. But this is all for show. He can't really box these. He'd get killed in the ring with a guy like Canelo. You know what I mean? He'd get killed in the ring. with a guy, not even Canelo, with the guy Canelo just fought. The guy that lost to Canelo would kill him. And Juice said he'll be all right if Cameron survive also Tyson just needs time. Yeah, let me ask you a question. So I just told you that Jake Paul is 27, and I believe I said Mike Tyson's 57. Do you think if you're in charge, if you're the guy in Mike Tyson's camp that can say yes or no to this, do you green light this fight or do you tell Mike it's not worth it?
You know what? I have so much faith in Mike Tyson. Like, I really do think this man is a beast, vicious monster. I'd still want Tyson to go for it.
In the words of Shalon Facey, honestly though, Mike Tyson 57 is not the average guy 57.
Like, I think that Shalon is right. It's just that's all the more reason to see like the ulcer is kind of like a chink in the armor a little bit. Like, oh, he kind of like the ulcer kind of gave him a little TKO, like a little knockdown, one knockdown. You know what I'm saying? It bothers me just a little bit because like I love Mike Tyson. Like I like if there's I don't really watch sports like that, but if Mike Tyson, if I saw top 10 Mike Tyson best fights. I've seen some of his longer fights. I've seen like how much he loved to fight. You know what I'm saying? In a lot of aspects. And
that's the
I remember wanting to get into boxing a little bit because of Mike Tyson. But
that's another thing. I'm so happy you said that because that is something people don't understand. Unless you like really follow Mike Tyson and you listen to everything that man says, you won't understand how much of a nerd he is for boxing. You know how like a rapper, you can tell a rapper is like a real hip hop head because they'll have like references. They'll be like, oh yeah, and that tragedy Gaddafi in 91 was killing it. You know what I mean? You'll be like, oh, that's really a hip hop head. He just gave you a tragedy Gaddafi reference. You know what I'm saying? Right. Mike Tyson does that for boxing. He'll start talking about like boxers you've never heard of. I don't even know their names, but I'm talking about like even more deep cut than like the Joe Lewis's, like more deep cut than that. He watches tapes of like 1945 fights, you know?
Yeah, that's
the guy
he loves the sports. He's a craftsman, and I feel like honestly, like I had like a not a real punching bag really, but like one of those joints that not a punching bag that hangs over, but the one that has like kind of like a water tank a little bit, and then you just punch it around and stuff like that.
Juice.
That's the type of punching bag that I had.
Juice
always wanted to do that.
Juice got an interesting point. And Jay, that was Jake's brother, Logan Paul fought Mayweather. He said it's not worth it with the ulcer because all Jay gotta do is target the body, which would make his condition worse. That's true, but I also feel like the person who's going to be in a worse position is probably Jake because Mike gets more time to train, and I think that'll be it. I think that'll be like. I know that they say he can't train fully because of the ulcer, but it's Mike Tyson, man. This is a guy who said that when he felt he was getting fat, he would get on a treadmill for 6 hours in a day. You know what I mean? Like it's a different guy.
Yeah, he's different. But I also think that the fact that we talking about ulcers here, even if he heals his ulcer, like Jake Paul can still aim for that body because that still is a weak point for him now. Yeah. Like I don't think like I feel like you can beat an ulcer, but I also feel like where that ulcer is, like you can still kind of boom, still hit in that area or whatever. Maybe something worse might occur or whatever. It might be an advantage. So maybe they shouldn't have put out that information. I don't know. I also am not a boxing expert.
That's true too. That probably by the time the fight happens, it'll be healed. You know what I mean? Probably that.
Hopefully, probably all that. But much love to Mike Tyson and Jake Paul. I don't think I have anything to add to this.
I got one more.
Not much love to Jake Paul. I hate that guy, but not that I hate him. I just think that he's a jerk.